Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by executive producer Ethan Euchre. And excited, on the line we have Dinesh D'Souza. He is New York Times best-selling author of America and also critically acclaimed filmmaker. I personally saw the movie America on the 4th of July weekend.
Perfect time to see
amazed.
see that film, by the way. Because I actually haven't. I've read excerpts of the book, but I haven't seen the film yet. And you were telling me that you were just blown away by it.
Unbelievable, Dinesh. I couldn't believe how well you presented the movie, because in school, I don't even think I learned some of what you taught me in the film.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear that, and it's just wonderful to see the reaction to the film around the country. By the way, our website is americathemovie.com, where you can find out where the film is playing near you. So, I'm an immigrant, and I remember that first feeling I had of America when I first came here at the age of 17. That feeling has never left me, and I think it continues to define the spirit of America, the sense of possibility, the abundance that is enjoyed by the ordinary man, the idea that you can be the architect of your own destiny. So I've been kind of stunned to see over the years the ways in which there's a kind of progressive leftist critique of America that's not just in politics, but has now ensconced itself in schools, in colleges, in the media, in Hollywood. And so my film is a kind of course, I air that critique. I let the leftists rail against America, but ultimately I want people to leave the film falling in love with America all over again and wanting to fight for America.
Kimberly, one thing that I enjoyed your description of Dinesh's movie is you said sort of the opening parts of the film made you almost ashamed to be an American.
Absolutely.
And then what Dinesh reveals in the film is that that they're all lies, right? Now, what types of things are debunked in the film, Dinesh, for those who haven't seen it?
Well, the central idea is that the success and wealth of America are all based upon theft, oppression, and plunder. This is the propaganda that is being taught to our young people. And if we sometimes wonder why our children are not as patriotic as we were or we are, the answer is that they're taught to hate their own country. So they're told a story about America that begins with the evil Christopher Columbus, stealing the country from the Native Americans. Then they're told about 250 years of slavery. America stole half of Mexico in the Mexican War. American foreign policy, even now, is not motivated by idealism, but by stealing other people's oil and their resources. And then, of course, we hear from Obama that our free market system, capitalism, is based upon theft, taking away from people what he calls their fair share. So that's the leftist critique. And we stated so strongly in the film at one of our screenings, a woman, got up and said, I'm just shaking with anger. I'm tempted to walk out right now. But we said, no, listen, we need to hear this stuff because this is the stuff that is being taught in our education system. Yes. We can't get away from it. What we need to do is think about it and answer it. And so the film begins by letting the critics of America rant and rave about America. Then I begin to examine these things one by one. I really show that what the left has done is leave a lot of history out because it's so inconvenient. It doesn't fit the narrative that they've been painstakingly trying to concoct.
It's an inconvenient truth, Dinesh, to quote Al Gore.
It's an inconvenient truth. Yes, I suppose that's a good way to put it. So what we do in this film, in 2016, my last film, we traveled in space to Hawaii, to Indonesia, to Kenya, looking for kind of Obama's worldview.
And I saw
in this film, we traveled through time, and you see recreations of episodes of American history that help you to understand that many of these great issues we think about, it occurred to Thomas Jefferson. It was debated by Abraham Lincoln. So by looking at our history, we begin to see that this country has wrestled in a very powerful way with these issues. And at the end of the day, far from being the problem, America is the solution.
I thoroughly enjoyed. I saw you did a piece with Megyn Kelly on Fox News, and you actually had her laughing. I think she was a little befuddled with an analogy that you used, sort of likening Obama and the U.S. to a serial killer / child molester father. But it makes sense when you explain it.
Here's the point I was trying to make. I was simply trying to explain the ideology of Barack Obama. Look, there's an interesting moment in the film in which I'm talking to the radical activist Ward Churchill. And I ask him this question. I say, if you had an atomic bomb, would you drop it on America? Kind of a startling question to ask, but here's why I asked it. Because the left, including Churchill, even Obama, they always go around italicizing how bad America has been in the world. They talk about America almost, what Churchill does, as a kind of evil empire, as almost America is like Nazi Germany. And so my point is, wait a minute, if I lived in Nazi Germany and if I saw the bad influence that Nazi Germany is having on the world and the harm it's doing to its own citizens, I would do what I could to undermine Nazi Germany, to bring down the regime. So the question I was asking Ward Churchill was, if you had an atomic bomb and if America is this evil force in the world, would you drop the bomb and get rid of this evil force? And what's quite amazing is to watch the little tumblers of his brain as he processes this question and gives a surprising answer to it. So that's what I was getting at with Megyn Kelly. I was trying to say that from Obama's point of view, he sees America, if you will, as a destructive and harmful force in the world. So it's not that he hates America, it's that he sees America as a force for bad, and he's trying to contain and control that.
There's a whole lot of things that you get into, and not only in the book but with the film. A Florida State Senator here, maybe you want to elaborate on this one, Kimberly, Alan Hayes.
He did. He was so impressed by your movie that he said he wants to introduce a one-page bill later this year, and the bill actually states that students in 1,700 Florida public high schools and middle schools are to be shown this film unless their parents object. And I think that's an absolute must, because right now you have the far left, and a lot of their books are being put into the school system, and it's mandatory reading. And if you're going to show far left viewpoints and things that aren't true about history, it should be mandatory that your book and or your movie is presented as well.
Well, when I first heard about this, I flinched at the word mandatory, but then I realized, wait a minute, this is in college. In school, everything is mandatory.
Correct.
It's not like you have options about what courses to take or what books to read. The school decides, either they show Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 9/11 or Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth, or they don't show it. If they show it, everybody watches it, unless their parents write a letter. And so this Florida legislator is doing nothing other than what's happening in the schools anyway. And what he's trying to say is, look, if you're going to get one perspective, if you will, the shame narrative, as I call it, America the inexcusable, isn't it nice to hear from an immigrant the other side of the story?
That's absolutely correct. And we're actually going to have Senator Alan Hayes on the show at a future date. I was just speaking with him the other day. Seems like a great guy. But yeah, I mean, if Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth is going to be shown, then you kind of need a little bit of balance there. Dinesh D'Souza is our guest right now, New York Times bestselling author of America Imagine a World Without Her, as well as the film of the same name. Dinesh, I wanted to ask you, actually, one of the excerpts from your book that particularly gets liberals fired up is when you ask how Obama managed to get elected president as a complete unknown, and you say that there's a one-word answer. What is that?
Well, the one-word answer is slavery, and America's accumulated racial shame and guilt over the issue of slavery. So this is the reason that, I'm not saying that Obama was elected, quote, because he was black, because I think what really made people turn to Obama was that he was a different kind of African-American leader, not like Jesse Jackson, not like Al Sharpton, not a racial shakedown artist. Obama's a major shakedown artist, but not a racial shakedown artist. And so, the irony of it all, of course, is that Obama's not descended himself from slaves, neither on his father's side nor his mother's side. His mother, of course, was white, but his father was a foreign student from Africa, not an African-American. And Obama hasn't really had the African-American experience. If you read his book, he talks far more about Kenya than he does about Selma or Martin Luther King. And so this is a man cut from a different cloth.
Yeah, for certain. Got a couple minutes left with you, Dinesh. Your thoughts on, say, the 2016 presidential race? Because, Obama's going to be out of office at that point. Obviously, he can't run for a third term. Where do you think the election's going? What does America need to get back on track? And what are you going to do when you don't have Obama to bash around anymore?
Well, there are two rival spirits in America today. One is the spirit of 1776. This is the entrepreneurial spirit that built America. The other can be called the spirit of 1968. This is the Obama spirit. It's the spirit of dependency, of envy and resentment, of declaring war against the wealth creators, about preferring to sit inside the bandwagon rather than pulling the bandwagon. So one of these two spirits is going to prevail. Look, this isn't just about Obama. In the movie America, I focus on this progressive movement that's much bigger than Obama. Obama didn't actually even create the progressive movement. It created him. So when Obama says he wants to remake America, he can't do it by himself, and he can't do it even in 8 years, despite all the damage he's already done. I think he's going to try to pass the baton on to a leader who is similar to him, possibly to Hillary Clinton, to keep going in the same direction that he has started. So I think that there's going to be a big choice before the American people about whether or not they want to strengthen the spirit of 1776 that built this country, or the spirit of 1968 that is taking it down.
And by taking it down, you mean from the inside?
Yeah, I mean that, we've been living in this American era since World War II, in which it's a very special time to be an American. America's had this wonderfully positive influence in the world despite our mistakes. The ordinary man in America has had an exceptional life that's not available to most people around the world. So we don't want that American dream to come to an end. It's already become more fragile under Obama, and I think what we need to do is be more vigilant in protecting it.
Well, I know we don't have a lot of time left. I actually wanted to ask your thoughts, Dinesh, on your upcoming criminal litigation, but I'm sure you're probably tired of talking about that as well. But best of luck to you with that. Best of luck to you with the film, and we certainly appreciate you joining us on American Medicine today, and hopefully we'll have you back again sometime real soon.
Thank you. It's really enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Great guy.
He is amazing,
So
and I'm glad
knowledgeable.
Costco finally is selling the book. Google finally got its act together, not burying headlines for the search.
Yep, wanted to get into that too, but you know how it is when you're doing a radio show.
Absolutely.
You only have a certain amount of time. So
We do, and you're listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. We'll hear more after the break.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine Procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine Procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone, nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.